Hello and welcome to Foodocracy Kitchens. I'm Kalyan Karmakar. And today with me, we've got Chef Praveen Anand from the ITC Hotels. And this is part of the Foodocracy Kitchens series, where I speak to you about the food cooked across India. And there's so much diversity in our country. And today is actually the day of the harvest festival across the country, whether it's Punjab, whether it's Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Bengal, Assam, every part of the country has their own rendition of it. And today from Chef Praveen Anand, who's like an expert, like he's like even for the ITC hotels, the expert of South Indian food. So we are going to get to know a bit more about the tradition of Pongal. So thanks so much, Chef, for joining us. Such an absolute pleasure to have you on board.
And happy Pongal to you.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much for taking time out on a festive day for you.
Working day. Working day for me.
Working day. Yes, that's how festivals have become. So, Chef, I wanted to know a bit about Pongal because while it's, of course, a very big festival in Tamil Nadu and it's very well known as a name, but I think that there's not much which we really know about it, except, of course, is the fact that is the name of a dish, rice-based dish, and it's a harvest festival. So can you tell us a bit about the festival, its origins, the traditions?
As far as I know, this in olden days, during the times of the Chola kings, this was known as Indira Vriya, would actually mean it's a festival of Indira, the Lord of the gods, I guess, and or the King of gods. This was what it was referred to earlier. Pongal, I do not know what time in history this name got anointed with this festival that is happening. Basically, harvest festival. This is the time when the sun is moving into the Makara Rashi. So that's how the Pongal. Harvest time. Basically, lots of varieties of rice and fresh produce which is offered to the village deities. And what you normally find in villages is each home does a what you call a rangoli, or what we call in Tamil as kolam, and they will beautifully ornate, decorate some pot which is painted. Then they tie these turmeric leaves around this because this is the time when it is harvested too. And of course, the sugar cane, which is a main thing for this festival. And then using this fresh rice, moong dal or tur dal, there are varieties in it, small varieties, and then use the fresh jaggery, and they make this pongal, as they call it, which is similar to a khichdi in the north. We have two kinds of pongal that is made. One is called ven pongal, that is white colored, basically with moong dal, fresh rice or freshly harvested rice, and some milk in it, and then flavored with ginger, pepper, and cumin. Very nice to taste. And what they do is they usually cook it on firewood, and as it flows over, and they announce it. So that is the rate of success or whatever in the village.
When the water flows over.
The water, no, even in the rice, the entire thing flows over. Basically the starch flows over, and then they shout "Pongalo Pongal." That means this is flown over, and
so like a bounty.
Like a bounty. So the same thing is done with a sweetened version of the same with jaggery. Same thing with this also. This also boils over, and the same story where they shout "Pongalo Pongal."
Wow.
In fact, if you go to a village, it is great fun because everyone in the household is involved with it, and then you can hear shouts from one end to the other.
It almost sounds like a R.K. Narayan Malgudi days sort of picture.
It reminds you of that. In In fact,
Yes.
you probably, if you see it, you would immediately get reminded of Malgudi days.
It also reminds me a bit of my childhood in Calcutta because Bengal is also a rice eating thing. So the starch in Calcutta is called the fan, the bhater fan, and when the rice is cooking and if the fan overflows, then it's not pongala, it's not joy. It's like, oh God, like let's quickly go and reduce the flame and so that it doesn't. And of course, the starch was also used for sort of crisping the clothes, starching the clothes. Chef, the starch is also used for starching the clothes in Bengal. Is that a tradition in the south?
Yes, even in the south, it's the same. As I grew up, it was the same. They take out the starch from the rice and they keep it aside, and all the white clothes get dipped, and especially your school uniforms, your shirt gets starched, and you wear crisp clothes
Yes.
to school.
I mean, nowadays the world teaches us about sustainability, but sustainability is such a big part of Indian culture.
Almost. See, one more thing. While dal is one which is harvested now and used in the south, there is one small variation. Even tur dal is harvested at this time, and it is used to make a sweet pongal. This is a variation that you will find. These
So
are the two
sweet,
things that you will find.
so sweet pongal is tur dal, and the vain pongal, the savory
No, no,
pongal.
no, no, no. Both are made with moong dal,
Huh.
but where they also produce tur dal at this time, they use a bit of tur dal in the sweet one. It is called chakara pongal.
Sakrapa. Now, Chef, I want to ask you something because I mean, your understanding of South Indian food is so vast and wide. Um, so 1 or 2 years back, I had gone to Vizag, Vishakhapatnam, and after quite some time, in fact, coincidentally, I was staying at the ITC property over there, and I had gone to some local restaurants, and over there, pongal is a big thing in the morning, like the savory pongal with pori and ghee. So is it just a Tamil sort of custom
No, no,
or?
no, 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 no. The same thing. While it is called Shankranti in Andhra and Telangana, this particular dish is called Pongali.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't know where it started from, but you will find this being made mostly in Karnataka, Andhra, Telangana, and in Tamil Nadu. Not so much in Kerala, I guess. For Kerala, the bigger festival is Vishu.
Vishu. So I remember this. I'd gone with this young friend of mine, and he said that I mean the taste of the pongal comes alive when you put ghee.
Actually,
Yeah. Yes.
the,
Yes.
uh, the, the if you use cow ghee or real good quality ghee, it's like a khichdi. So the taste is better with it.
Now you also said that there are certain vegetables which are part of the harvest festival during winter. So what would the sort of vegetables be, and what sort of dishes would one make with it?
Um, Around this time, at the same time, you get about sweet potatoes, um, what you call butter beans, or same ki bhaji, the broad beans. The seeds are also used separately. Then cluster beans, then yam, colocasia, drumstick, pumpkin. So there are about 7 vegetables that are put together and they make a curry. And it is called Elitan Korambu. Basically, if you translate that, it would mean 7 vegetable curry.
Wow.
Uh, this is a curry, and this is served with a lot of fanfare during the lunch times. Otherwise, what they do is they make it with just a tempering, like what we call a sundal, just a simple tempering with hing and mustard, and they serve this one along with pongal.
So you have it
So
along with the pongal.
yeah. I mean, pongal as this is you start the day with pongal. Leftovers obviously has to be, and then you add it for lunch. You add some other dish to it, and it makes a meal. And you
You
make
know,
a
I
meal of it.
I got two different similarities as I was listening to you. Just a bit earlier this afternoon, I had a Gujarati dish called undiyu, which I'm sure you're familiar with, and it's a winter dish, but they have it even at Sankrant before winter turns to spring. And some of the vegetables which you mentioned, like the raw unripe banana, the purple yam, sweet potato, cluster beans, the val seeds, all of that form a part of the undiyu. And you said that this particular curry means that it's seven vegetables. So in Bengal, where I come from, there's a torkari, which is a mix of the vegetables, which is called pach meshali, which is five vegetables put together. And the combination changes according to the season. And you
Very
must have
much so.
seen so many such similarities between the cuisines across South and across India, haven't you?
In fact, if you ask me, it is through the journey of food that I've found a thread connecting the entire country in some way or the other. And if you take the jaggery based sweets, some of them are very similar everywhere.
Wow.
Uh, and in Andhra, we make something called kaja, which is basically atta based um, or wheat based. And these are dipped in jaggery syrups, and you get varieties of them. And you will find them all over.
Yes,
And
I
then,
had that in a sweet shop in Vizag, the khaja.
uh, yes,
And then there was another lovely sweet, which is like paper. It almost looked like rolled paper.
it's called Utarekulu,
Utarekulu,
which would
yes.
actually translate to the petals of a flower. It is supposed to
Yes.
be so light. But surprisingly, you probably will find this in Buddhist centers. There is a connect. If you see the entire country, in some of the places you will find this. But in Andhra, it is very famous, either sweetened with jaggery or with sugar, and with a lot of fillings, with dry fruits,
And,
or
and
just and good quality ghee.
I found it interesting that you said that there's a Buddhist connection, because there's a
Yes.
Buddhist saying which I'm very fond of. It's a philosophical saying which says that winter turns to spring, that, no matter how bad situations are, eventually they turn to spring. And today's Sankrant is about that. And, that's the thing which was in my mind through all of 2020, that, okay, this is winter, but, we are working towards spring. And spring is about so much about hope and joy.
Yes, really, really.
No,
I mean, really looking forward to a great year, and we have. I hope we now have an answer for COVID.
yes. No, but till then, through good food, we are going to keep nourishing ourselves so that we're all ready. Now, I want to, you use a very interesting point, Chef, and you've got more than 33 years of experience. So I want to, you said that as you traveled across the country and, you ate, you worked with people, you've gone to houses, you've gone to street corner places, you've worked with top end hotel chefs. And you mentioned that you've seen a thread which connects India. So anything you want to say about that? Well, your
It's
learnings?
like it's similar. Like this Shankranti, if you see, the entire country is celebrating with different names, and you will also find April 14th, which
Yes.
is New Year for certain states. I mean, they are the ones who follow the lunar cycle, and very similar celebrations you will find. The more you see this country, you know, the more uh, what do you say? You are surprised. At the same time, you feel very proud that there is so many traditions that you can always enjoy wherever you go. Food being seasonal and food being so different in taste. And probably this is a mecca of vegetarian food. This country is a mecca of vegetarian food. You can be a vegetarian and go anywhere in the country and safely have food anywhere.
And actually, if you look at the people who do not eat vegetarian, non-vegetarian, so to speak, but even the non-vegetarian diet has a big vegetarian component as well. So there's a bit of vegetarianism in everyone.
You see, in this part of the country, uh, you will find many of the meats mixed with vegetables and being cooked as a curry. And
Pausing it for a moment. I've lost your thing is frozen. Your face is frozen.
basically,
Hello,
hello.
chef.
I think we.
Yeah, yeah. No, your
Hello.
face is yes, yes. Now I'm starting the recording again. Where you're talking
Oh,
about the beans, I paused the recording there. So I'm just starting it again
oh,
because it was a bit unstable. Yes, please go.
oh. We were talking about the non-vegetarian food. If you go to the towns and villages in the country, and especially in the south, they pair a seasonal vegetable with a curry, and they make amazing food. I mean, what
Yes,
flavors do you get?
yes. So
You
I
know
must.
that? Have you ever tried prawns with what we call atom seed? That is palm fruit. आप जो नीरा बोलते हैं
Ata,
in the
ata. Yes. In Bengal we say ata. Sitafal.
yeah,
No, not
yeah,
not
yeah,
ata. Yeah,
that yellow heart shaped
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
thing
Not
fruit that you
sitafal.
find in
Yes,
your palm, and
yes.
then you remove the yellow skin and you find the white fleshy meat that
Amazing.
is mixed with prawn, and you have such a fantastic curry. And the first time that you see a fruit being cooked along with meat,
Wow. Yeah, because
this you find in Pondicherry.
in Bengal, of course, we cook prawn with lauki and pumpkin. And I had the Maharashtrian version very recently, which is mixed vegetables with prawn. But you said a fruit, the palm fruit, which is not the sitafal, which I've just said, but it's
And
amazing.
it's a special dish.
Yes.
What they call Yara Nungu curry, as they call it. Basically,
And this,
this is with the palm fruit. But again, if you see the other places, even in Tamil Nadu and in Andhra, uh, drumstick goes with prawn, with mutton, with meats. Uh, a beautiful taste. Same broad beans is also cooked with prawns. Um, soya ki bhaji, that is your like your dill leaves, what you have, fresh greens. It has got such an amazing taste. Uh,
yes, yes.
I can I can go on with it. And seasonal
But
vegetables go very well with the meats.
yes, but and coming back to Pongal, because it is really a
Sorry.
seasonal. Uh, Coming back to Pongal,
Yes.
which is a seasonal festival and about seasonal food. You were telling me that in rural areas like the Pongal, the rice boiling happens outside the house.
Yes. Yes. In front of the house, basically,
So is it a community thing? Do people get together?
um, families get together, and everyone is competing. That I mean, with your neighbor. So
So what is
the
the
entire
competition? What is the
basically it's fun.
no?
Basically,
But
you start
who
your
does it
pongal
first?
at the same time. Yeah.
Ah,
And then afterwards, um, you start at the same time, and then the first pongal which boils over
it's a
uh,
winner.
is the champion. So that's why they shout Pongalo Pongal. So and then it follows all over. So till the last one finishes.
What happens in
Obviously, the
cities?
first one takes the cake. Sorry.
First one, first ones. Okay, so the fastest Pongal wins. What happens in cities like Chennai and all the other cities like things like that, Coimbatore and stuff, where they can't do it outside and with the modern apartment system? How do modern people continue with it?
Uh, I guess we make at all homes. Most of my relations and my friends, uh, they make it at home Pongal, but nobody does this basic thing. Very few people. They still want to do that, so they get a painted pot,
Uh,
and we get invited over,
uh,
and then it becomes like a community meal. Basically, you bond over a Pongal breakfast,
wow. Have you
and this
ever? No, go ahead. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
uh, to many of my friends have eaten in many places like this, and very peculiarly you will find them making something different along with this. That is when I have tasted something different. Like what we normally do is, rasa vada is basically urad dal vada, which is a soft vada, which they put in rasam. In
Yes.
certain homes, they use this thing. They make something called masala vada, which is a crisp patty of roughly ground lentils, and they put it into the rasam.
Wow.
And then there is a story behind it. They tell you how it started in their family. It's great fun. It's great
So the
fun to go to.
story changes from family to family.
Family obviously changes. Everyone is more original than the other.
That's the beauty of storytelling, isn't it? So Pongal is a big family binder, you're saying. So do different families come together, like different branches of the family, like who might live separately in the city, come together and meet?
Yes, yes, yes. This is the time.
Now, Chef, just to sum up, what we are talking about, you said it's actually a 3-4 day festival, 4-day festival, the Pongal. So what
Yes.
happens in the 4 days?
The first day is the day when you clean up all your homes and then burn the rubbish. That is the day of Bhogi, as we call it here. And then the second day is the actual day of Pongal, where people, each home decorates the house. They have this rangoli outside and they do the cooking outside. And then they shout out as soon as the thing boils over, Pongal or Pongal. That is the
And you said
second
that
day.
the fastest boiling first. Whoever does it,
Yes.
whoever's overflows.
They will be probably um, the champions of the day over there in their streets. And then the third day is when you have the cattle race and the Jallikattu and all that. This is on the third day. And then the fourth day is when people make food at home, go outside to some place, and they all congregate outside and they have a meal, like a picnic.
Wow, a
This has
Pongal
been
picnic.
happening for several I don't know how many centuries, but
Yes.
happens regularly. And
You said in
especially if
Chennai,
you,
it happens on the beaches.
yes, the beach will become choco block. You will hardly find any space to go there,
Yeah.
and especially on these days. And this year, because of COVID, the government has already announced that people cannot congregate on the beach. Otherwise, it's a sight to behold.
So,
Various families coming.
and you also said that different branches of the family get together at one of the houses to celebrate. So it's also
Yes,
family bonding.
yes. Because of so many events that this happened for over 4 days. So most of the Tamil boys, usually whoever is working, they all go take leave and go to their villages for this,
And
for
they
this
leave you in the
experience.
kitchen. And they leave you in the kitchen because you've not taken enough. You're working today.
Fortunately, we get to make these things and make it an experience for people who come to the hotels.
So at the Dakshin restaurant,
At the
you said
Dakshin restaurant.
they can try
Yes.
all of these Pongal specialties. I would love to
Yes.
one day actually see the Pongal overflowing, because as a kid, I remember when the rice, even now, if the rice is overflowing, we are running to turn it off before so that the rice doesn't melt. But here is seen as auspicious.
Yes.
Every day one learns something new. Yeah, it's amazing. So today is the second day of the Pongal, where the actual Pongal happens.
The Pongal festivities, second day. And
Wow.
this is the actual Pongal day. When they do this, that's why it's called Pongal.
So
When they
I
cook
can
this. Sorry,
no,
say
but
it.
please go ahead. Yeah. So today is the actual day of the Pongal.
This is the actual day. The third day is for the cattle, and the fourth day is again for the families to go out and celebrate.
Yes.
And there was also another story somebody was talking about, that um, the the best time to imbibe vitamin D is this time, when the intensity, the change of the sun from the southern uh, actually happens on the 21st or 22nd of December. But this is the time when intensity is high. and probably you get um, a good amount you absorb while you're out. So the kite
It's
flying, and then these cattle races, and then cooking outside, and the last, which is going on a picnic.
it's amazing that there's so much science in our traditions across the culture. I mean, we today sustainability is a big global word, but like you pointed out, even like all these traditions of going outdoors, like going outdoors and eating the pongal, or going watching the cattle race, or kite flying, which even in Bengal and Shankranti is a big thing, is actually aimed at making sure that you get your vitamin D without
Yes,
injections.
correct.
So, Chef, today is a very auspicious occasion, like you said, the Pongal, and and I know that this year is a bit different. Like, for example, on day four, people will miss being able to go out and have the Pongal picnics. But something tells me that in the Pongal, which has been overflowed across homes through the day, and I'm sure across the world, through there'll be a million homes, maybe in different time zones doing it. But
Yes,
I think that like you said, is the throwing away of the rubbish also. So as the the rice and the water emerges and the bounty of blessings emerges, I'm sure next year we'll all be back in the beaches and having our pongal together.
really looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Chef Praveen Anand. You're such a fountain of knowledge. It's been fabulous to talk to you.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Thank you, and happy pongal to you, to everyone at the ITC Grand Chola, your family, your friends, and all of yours. Thank you so much.
So much.
Thank you. Thank you.